Yeah, record. All right, awesome. So, um, hey guys, for those of you guys just showing up, I was letting everyone know that um, today the board is going to make the decision on if we're going to go to hybrid or not. So I will send you guys a message in Google Classroom later on today. It's not going to be until late, like past 6 o'clock. It's like 6, 7, 8 o'clock, depending on where, like when they start talking about it. But I'll let you guys know what the board decides, and depending on how they decide, we'll like talk about it tomorrow in class. So if we're staying in distance learning, we don't need to talk about it. If we do this, if they are doing the hybrid, then we'll talk about that. But a lot of you guys didn't know how to do this activity. This is homework 7. It'll say extra credit homework 7 um, in your Google Classroom. Um, do you have to do this activity? No, you do not. It is extra credit. But the way it works, if you look, it has this slide right here, which it's like a puzzle piece. You can click on here and it'll send you to each one, or you can just click on the slides down here. What you're going to do is you're going to find the slope for each one of these questions. The 2 points are up here, and you're obviously going to need paper to be able to do this. Do you have to submit me a copy of all of your work? No. However, if you do submit a copy of all of your work, then I will give you extra credit on top of the extra credit. So double, no, not double, but like bonus extra credits. But you guys would take the slope, that's the y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, that formula that we did a couple of days ago. And then I'll tell you for question number 1, it's going to be this one right here, m equals 2 over 5. You can do a couple of, what I would prefer is for you to click on here, copy it. If you're on your iPad, if you touch and hold, it'll give you guys that menu. So copy and then bring it over here and then paste it. And then you're going to bring it over to where the 1 is at. And it's going to make a picture. So that's one option. That's the way I would prefer you to do that. However, if reasons, because there's always reasons, you can't do that, then whatever the answer is, delete it. That lets me know that that's the one that you picked. Or go to your shapes, get a circle, and then put it over the one you picked. Figure something out that works for you and do it that way. But again, this is extra credit. It is homework number 7, and it'll say it in your Google Classroom, and it'll say extra credit homework 7. Today in class, we're going to be doing formative assessment, which, how do we know it's a formative assessment? Because it says F3. So remember all the activities that we do in Desmos, and then some extra ones. If it has an F and then a number, that means it's a formative assessment. Is it a test? No, it's an activity. Consider all, like, I don't get scared over the word test or formative assessment. It's like, what does that mean? It's like, no, it just means that we're paying attention to, like, how are you guys able to look through everything, and like, are you catching on to it and all that stuff. So formative assessment, this activity that we're going to do it all with you. So you're going to get every single answer if you guys follow along. It will be graded today because we're giving you guys all the answer. There is no, oh, you guys get to do this later on in the day. No, no, no. Everything is going to be done today in class. And it's worth 40%. Remember, this is the 40% chunk. Anything that says F number, that's part of your 40%. So please make sure that you guys do this. We do have office hours today for an hour. Next week on Thursday, so a week from today, you guys will have your first quiz. It'll be very easy. If you've been able to do your homework, then you've got this. So a lot of you guys are very confident in how you're being able to do things. So you guys have been doing amazing. So then you guys should do very well on this quiz. The next day, April 2nd, which is a Friday, is the first day of spring break. You do not have class next Friday. Not this Friday, not tomorrow, next Friday. Um, and then I will see you back here on April 12th, which is a Monday. So that's your first day back. So you have like 1 week with like 2 weekends, and that's it. Um, and yeah, please be following along. If you have any questions, let Ms. Gomez know. But this activity is actually pretty fun. Like the last class, like they did absolutely fantastic.
Did.
Um, and yeah, like they had a blast. So I know that sounds weird, but it's actually not that bad.
I know,
But
having fun in math, like actually doing math, it's possible. I mean, I know you guys have fun in general in this class because Doc is awesome, but this activity is pretty fun too.
you're the one teaching.
I know, but they know you. That's why they come to this class.
Oh, whatever.
All right. Oh, wait, wrong one. Not that one. There we go. Okay. So today, and I saw some of you already know the routine and you have already clicked on the assignment we're working on today, which is pretty cool. You guys already know what we're supposed to do. But for those of you that are not there yet, we are going to Google Classroom. Under our classwork, we have this F3 Docs Picture Perfect. So this is that activity we're talking about in Desmos. I'm going to get that link for you guys and I'll drop it in the chat for you. So there we go. If you haven't accessed this activity through Google Classroom, you can go in the chat and click on that link that I just dropped in there for you guys. Click on that and it'll take you directly to our Desmos activity. So I'm going to go through Google Classroom just to keep modeling that for other students. Oh, one thing I want to make sure you know, if you're trying to do the activity on your phone, Desmos isn't the best when it comes to being used on phones. So I would recommend you switch over whatever device that you can use, like the iPad, or if you have a computer, try to do this assignment on your computer. I hear it gives students a hard time when they're on their phone. So, all right, make sure that you are typing in your first name or last name, but you shouldn't have to if you are signed into Google. You'll just, your first name and last name should show up and you can press. Right now, the activity's paused because I don't want you to have any fun without me. I want us to do this fun activity together. I don't want to be left out. What is that? Fear of missing out? I'm like that. All right, let's see. Marifed, I see you on here. Lizette. Actually, Marifed had been here since the beginning of the period. Good job, Marifed. Lizette, Jade, Melissa, I see you on here. Lexi's, Natalie, Jessica, Kimberly, Emily, Montano, because I know there's two. Jimena, Selena, Daniel. Give a couple of you more seconds here to join us. So while we're waiting here, I'll just talk a little bit. So just remember what it is that we've been doing since we started here. We're talking about linear equations, and now we're getting into like the meaty stuff of finally trying to see what these linear equations are all about, since we spent the first couple of weeks just talking about slope. So think of your slope as our rate of change. We said we can measure the steepness of a line, but in that first activity, you also saw that it's like it's a pattern. It's an equal jump from one point to another, or from one value to another. So we're still going to see that here. All right, so a lot more of you are on here. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'll unpause this activity here, but I'm going to paste you to just this one slide. There we go. So right now, slide 1 is open. We're going to take a look and see how these linear equations work with our with the wall and some frames. So here you're wanting to place the hooks. You're going to have to hang 3 pictures. Okay, and to do that, we have these little hooks that we're going to drag onto a wall. But what you want to be sure that you do when you're placing these hooks is that you place them equally spaced from one another. Equally spaced just means that you have the same space in between all of these different hooks. So I'll show you an example of what's not equally spaced. So if I place my hook here and then my second hook here, I notice there's a space in between them and I want to keep that the same over here. But because I have horrible like hand-eye coordination, I'm thinking that's equally spaced. But notice there's a big gap here. I could try to make it smaller and make sure that it seems equal to this space here. Once you have your hooks placed, you want to click on try it. And notice frames come down and they start to hang on your hooks. But my frame here fell. So that means these were not equally spaced. And I can try again. So to try again, if you missed it the first time, you can press reset and move your hooks. I know my last frame fell, so I might have to move this one a little closer. I can try it now. Oh, my average is getting better. You guys, every time I do this activity, it would always take me 3 tries to get my hooks in the right spot.
Yeah.
And now I did it in 2. Yay.
Good job.
Thank you. I'm proud of myself. It doesn't matter if you do it. Oh, thank you. You guys are so nice. It's not about getting in the first try, but you know, some of us are kind of competitive, and I'm kind of on the competitive side. I'm competitive,
Small
but
things, guys. Okay, we have to celebrate the small things right now. It is COVID.
Yeah.
We celebrate the small things. I tied my shoes correctly. Woohoo!
But let's see, some of you already got it. All right, let's see. If you don't get it, remember you can reset and try again. And depending on where your frame is, it kind of tells you whether you have to move your hook left or right. I think a lot of you are getting it. Let's see. Anybody that got it on their first try? There's some students that are, oh, it doesn't? Let me see. When you have, I don't think it'll let you press try it if your hooks are not in the wall. Are all of your hooks in the wall? So if I have this hook outside of the wall, it won't let me press try it until it's actually in there.
And then make sure that you're not doing this on a phone.
Oh,
because it doesn't work. Again, the Desmos activities do not really work on phones. It messes up, and then like it won't let you do certain like stuff like this with animations and stuff.
Okay, you got it. Yeah, and again, you can press try it, and if you don't get it, oh, I'm so good now. And I moved it and moved it back. You can press reset and place your hooks again. But a lot of, oh, you guys have it already.
And then look in the background, like you'll find strategies, guys. Like try and like outsmart this game. I mean, it's a game. Like this activity is a game, at least for the first few slides. Look and try and figure out like what can I do in order to do this, and try and get it that first, second shot.
Yeah, and some of you are going to notice that you don't have them in the same placement that I do. Maybe some of you have them a lot closer to your table, and that's fine because you still have the equal spacing between them. You're just not placing them in the exact same spot as I am. And there isn't an exact same spot that you have to do it, as long as you have that equal space. Okay, you guys did fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and open up the next slide, and we are going to have a new wall. So slide number 2 is open. We can go ahead and click on next. Slide number 2 gives us a new wall, and you actually have more hooks this time. So you're going to drag the blue points again to place your hooks on this wall, and you still want to make sure that they're equally spaced from one another, but this time you don't want to hit the lamp. So you got to make sure you're clearing that lamp. Notice there's a sofa here. So you actually have a new environment, and actually in this wall, there are some other strategies you can use to make sure that your hooks are evenly spaced. So see if you can use what you're given in this new room, in this new wall, to try to get those. Oh, one of you already got it? Ooh, good job. And if you got it pretty quickly, let me know in the chat what strategy you used. Because I'm really bad again. And not just here in Desmos, but in the real world, I'm horrible at hanging or placing any type of pictures in my walls.
Yeah, I get to a part where I'll like be putting up posters in our classroom, and I'll be like, good enough. But then I have like some OCD students that are like staring at it for like the longest time, going, Doc, Doc, that poster is like staring at me. It is crooked. It's off by like a centimeter. And I'm like, it's close enough. And they're like, no, it's not. There is no close enough. And then I'm like, fine, if it bothers you that much, you fix it. And they'll literally get up and fix it. And I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, see, that's the good thing then. You have help.
Maybe I do that on purpose.
Okay, some of you have it already. Let's see, anybody get it in the first try? And I love, somebody actually told me their strategy and I didn't think about that strategy. Yep, good one. Yeah, that's the one I would have gone with. And I wish all walls were like that in real life, because then I would have done that. I would just do that. And then, go ahead.
I mean, back in what, the 60s when they had wallpaper, they would have wallpaper like that. But I mean, it does not look good now.
Yeah, see, but I hear that that's kind of coming back, like everything from the 70s.
Well, I mean, everything's always coming back. It's like, why don't ever throw away any of your clothes, because it's coming back.
And then we have hoarders that say it'll come back.
Yeah.
Yeah. My closet, that's a flaw of mine, is that I like to shop a lot and my closet is full of stuff, and I like to buy pieces that don't really go out of style, so I rewear them, and I'm really good about keeping my clothes nice and neat, looking new. Oh, but a lot of you are getting on, so I like to say, well, I think I can still use it, like in a couple years, it'll probably come back in style. Good job, you guys. You guys are doing fantastic. Okay, I have a couple of you that told me your tricks, your strategies here. And again, you guys have an upper hand on me here because I don't play that many video games. So you guys are so used to coming up with strategies and I'm not the best at it. Even though my nephews try to play, ask me to play, and I do play with them, but they just ask me to play because they want to boost their ego and win all the time. Ooh, I like how one looks here. Yeah, so if you want an easy win, you know who to play against. Me. Okay, so I'm gonna try it here. Let's see how I did. Oh, see, always. Okay, I really like your guys' strategy. Some of you are telling me that you're using the wall, the pattern on the wall. Yeah, exactly. So the pattern on the wall kind of already seems to be equally spaced. So notice I tried to use the pattern on the wall, but I'm still off from that pattern. But since my frames here fell, this third frame here fell a little bit off to the right, it tells me I should probably move this one to the right a little and this one a little further left. See, I'm using the points. If I try that, oh, I'm still off. Of course I would be. So let me try it one more time. I can get it. I won't give up. Okay, too much. There we go. I'm thinking that should be good. Okay, I shouldn't have bragged too much on the first one.
No, other way.
Other way?
Yeah.
That looks pretty good. Oh, yes. Okay, only one more. And I think it was more this way. Too much? No, more. Okay. Okay, I'm almost done. I don't want to give up because none of you guys gave up, really.
No.
Yay!
Oh, there we go. Woo.
All right. So one of you, which I didn't think about this, one of you said you used the sofa to have them equally spaced. And that's pretty impressive. 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah. Now I see the 1,
Oh.
2, 3, 4. Oh, yeah. Okay, that works too. It took me 10 tries. Oh, okay. We were close.
It's okay. Someone, I think in first period, it took them like 12 or 14. So
Oh.
it's fine. It as long, hey guys, it's not the fact, like I had one student try an activity with me and would not give up. It took him 30 tries. And
Whoa.
he was so excited when he finally did it. But
Yeah.
again, the fact, and like he was trying his like darndest, and it took him 30 tries, but it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep, don't, the fact that you're not giving up, that's what matters.
Mm-hmm. So good job, you guys. All right, I'm going to go ahead and open up the next one. Again, remember, we're kind of going up in levels, so let's take a look. Number 3 here, it just tells us the number of attempts. It says you and your classmate made 206 attempts to place the frames, and there were 5 of you that placed it on the first try. So those 5 of you, I'm jealous. No, there's 5 of you that got it on the first try. Good job, you guys. And I am going to open up the next slide here. Slide 4, a little different scenario for slide 4. We're still trying to place hooks on the equally spaced from each other, but this wall, they actually give us some more measurements. And in this wall, they tell us it's 12 feet long. And instead of dragging the points here, you're going to go into your table and actually tell us where you want to place these hooks in terms of distance. So if you want to start off your first hook on 1 foot, then that means it's basically 1 foot from your wall here. And then you want to make sure they're equally distanced. So think about what numbers we can use here to place these equally distanced. I don't know, I'll just start at like 2 and then 8 and 10. I'm just trying numbers. You can try it and see what happens to your hooks. That's not very good. So I know I have to reset that and probably put in some other distance feet for my hooks. Oh, okay, somebody already. Good job, Marifer, very good. So if you got it already on the first try, you could actually try a couple different ways. So if you got it on the first try, yeah, good job. Yeah, now think about why that worked too. That's the important part. So if you got it on your first try, you could also try different distances, different spacing between them, and see if you get a second one correct. And it's so interesting how some of you will have very different answers. Like some of you will have the same ones, but when we look on the teacher side, it's interesting where you guys decide to place them. Okay, yours is cool. Let me see. What did you do? Ah, yeah. Some of you play it safe. Some of you are more adventurous. And then we see that some of you use the exact same one. Not that you try to get the same one, but it's pretty common to use those numbers. But I think we're getting a lot of different answers. Okay, one thing I want to make sure you pay attention to is that your wall is 12 feet. So if your wall is 12 feet, we want to make sure our hooks are between those 12 feet. So if you go past 12 feet, it's most likely not going to be in there. So keep that in mind. Oh, there you go. We have some of you changing it. Ooh. So again, you want to think about how long this wall is, and also that we want to make sure that they're equally spaced. So how would that look in our table? Equally spaced. Ooh, Lizette, you have a good one. I don't think I've seen that one yet. Actually, that looks really nice too on the wall. So in the other periods and some in here too, there's some of you trying to get it like on the table, trying to make it look nice. Okay, I'll give you guys a couple more seconds, but a lot of you are catching on already. And some of you are like, I'm not giving up. I'm not giving up. I'm still trying. So I'm going to go ahead and help some of you guys out, but I'll borrow some answers from you guys. A pretty common one, so one that I saw a lot was 3, 6, and 9. So when I press try it, and they start to hang, we got it. They actually hung on those hooks correctly. So anybody that wants to tell me there in the chat, why did this work? 3, 6, 9? And it's not the only way we could have done this. A lot, you guys have very different ways, and I'll show you a couple of examples in a bit. But anybody that knows why this worked, why did a distance of 3, 6, and 9 work? Because they're equally spaced? Yeah, so how do we know they're equally spaced here? And let me show you this one here, 2, 4, 6. This is also another one that I saw a lot of. There you go. Let me see. So take a look at this one. This one also has the frames hanging correctly at 2, 4, and 6 at those distances. Why did that one work? Keep that in mind too. And a new one that I saw that I thought was pretty impressive. Oh no, I think somebody erased it. Ah, found it. Okay. So this one, I don't think I've seen this one yet. That one's nice. It almost takes up the whole space, which is pretty cool. So keep this in mind here. Look at your numbers, 2, 6, 10. Those are equally spaced. Think of the space between them. The space between 2, 6, and 10, that's 4. Okay, the space between 3, 6, and 9, that was 3, evenly consistent all the time, which makes us think of our slope. It's consistent. Okay, but you guys got it. And actually, there were some brave souls in first period that actually tried decimals. And I'll show you what decimals work, because Doc and I were trying to make it look really nice and pretty by putting it in front, like aligned to our table. And I think we tried 1.5, 2.5,
1.5,
3.5.
1.
Oh.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Let's
I
see.
thought you meant like you're gonna start at 3.5. I'm like, no, 1.5.
There we go. Ooh, see that? Looks pretty. So notice we could have also used decimals. The spacing between these here is still 1. So now those are really close. And I saw some of you putting them really close. That's like taking not the easy way out, but you're playing it safe, which is good, right? Nothing wrong with that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open up another one for you, and it's very similar. So we'll go ahead and go to slide 5. There we go. A new wall, but in this wall here, you actually have a distance here that shows you it's 20 feet long. So the whole wall is 20 feet, but notice you have a door and a window here that measures 8 feet together. So you also want to place your hooks, and you want to keep them equally distanced, but you don't want to hit that door and you don't want to hit that window. So try here some distances that'll work. Click on try it and see how they hang. And if you don't get it on the first try, it's okay. We're not giving up. Oh, but one of you already did. Ooh, some of you are now trying decimals. Ooh, Jimena, good job. Marifed, perfect. Lisette, you got it. Good job. And again, if you don't get on your first time, that's actually good practice, because you get to see the layout, okay, what numbers you're using. Then you'll start seeing, oh, if I use this number, it starts to put it on my door and I can't do that. So keep in mind that it's a 20-foot long wall, but there's a door and a window that are taking up 8 feet of that, and we can't really go past that. Ooh, Alexis, that's impressive. That's really cool. I like your spacing. That's a new one. I haven't seen that. Nice. Then you actually, if you did that now, Alexis, you actually won't even have a hard time with some of the slides at the end. So keep that in mind. Oh, cool. So I see some of you use maybe bigger numbers because you thought, well, this is 20 feet, so I can work with bigger numbers. But then I see you start to change them because you see, oh, well, if I go past a certain point, it starts to hit the door. So keep that in mind. You don't want to get to the door because they'll start to fall. You can't hang frames on the door. I mean, some people can, I guess, but
like wreaths, but you can only do like one, and that's about it.
okay, a lot of you are catching on. Jessica, I like that you went with that choice. She's like, I'll play it safe. But you got it. Okay, good. You guys are catching on. I'm going to give you guys a couple of examples. So some of you said, well, hello, I saw that 2, 4, and 6 worked on the first one, why don't I just go along with that? So some of you did continue with that. Way easier. 2, 4, 6, and then you extended it a little more, 8. And you notice that that worked. See that? Again, the equal spacing from 2 to 4, that's 2. 4 to 6, that's another 2. And 6 to 8 is another 2 feet between them. I'm going to try another one here that I saw. 3, 5, 7, and 9. Notice this one still has that equal spacing between them of 2, but they started at a different distance. So keep that in mind too. If you start at a different distance, it gives you more space here from the basically this corner of that wall or the end of that wall. It pushes your hooks over further out if you start further at a bigger distance. So keep that in mind too. I want to point out a really cool, oh, now I start seeing a lot more decimals. You guys are awesome, honestly. If I were a freshman, I wouldn't have ever used decimals. You guys are awesome. So I'm going to point this one out. This one's really awesome. I have not seen anything like this yet. And 10. There we go. So notice the numbers that this student used, 2.5, 5, 7.5, and 10. Okay, we still have an equal spacing between these, but a slightly different spacing, and even with some decimals there. And also this one that never fails, and there's nothing wrong with this one. This one's correct too. Oops, 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 not the way I'm writing it. 3, 4, there we go. Looks really nice to me on the wall there, right next to each other. But in real life, I would not be able to do that either. Like, or maybe that would actually be a strategy I want to use in real life when I'm hanging my frames. I won't struggle. So I like this one too. All right, good job, you guys. Again, there's many different spacing we could have used between these, and you guys came up with some really good ones, but I am going to go ahead and open up the next 2 slides. The next 2 slides go together, 6 and 7, okay? A little different. In this one here, you're trying to place 5 hooks, and these 5 hooks still have to be evenly spaced, but they're already giving you the location or where the hook 2, the second hook is, and where the 5th hook is. So they use some equally spacing between these hooks here. And you're going to try to figure out what that space is, but you can also just try numbers. So in here, you're going to try to fill in this table. And what you're going to do is go on over to slide 7 when your table is complete, and you're going to click on try it. Once you click try it, it should show you how these hooks are placed depending on your table. And if they fall off, then that's a good indication that you probably have to go back to your table and try some other numbers. So we're stepping up the level here, getting a little more difficult, but you guys know the goal is equally spaced or evenly spaced between all of these. And then also if you take a look at slide 7, there's a bookcase here. Probably can hang a frame where the bookcase is. So think about that as you're picking some numbers. Okay, I see a struggle. Oh, wait, no, somebody got it already. I mean, I don't want you guys to struggle, but I think it's a little fun when it gets you thinking a little more. Oh, you got it, Juan. Good job. Let me know in the chat, what strategy did you use to get it that fast? I don't think I've seen anybody get it that fast yet. And again, not that getting it faster than the other is important. It's the actual struggle, the actual thinking that's important, but I'd like to know what you use for your strategy. Okay, a lot of you way closer. Good job. Oh, Samuel got it now. Good job, Samuel. Jennifer, you're getting really close. You're really, really close. Okay, think about our equal spacing. How did they get from 11 here to another number that brought us to 23 at the end there? Oh, let's see. Ah, yeah, yeah. Good job. Ah, I like that. Yeah, I like that. So what what one student said, well, I don't know, I started at 11 and then I tried adding 1 or 2. So I'll start with adding 2. 11 plus 2 is 13. 13 plus 2 is 15. And then if I add 2, 15 plus 2 would be 17. So not exactly 23, which means that skip counting by 2 or the equal spacing of 2 doesn't really work. So we know we either go up or we go down in this spacing. Good strategy. And you explained it so well too. Okay, a lot of you now are catching on a lot faster. Good job. Okay, let's see. Lizette, you got it. Jade, you're on the right track. You're getting it. Natalie, you're on the right track there. Yes, good. Jessica, you got it. Emily, you're really close. Good job, Jimena. Oh, some of you are getting really close. Kimberly, good job. Juan, you got it. Jennifer. All right, let's say I'm going to try those 2s. Actually, I'm going to go up by 3 since I already tried 2s and they didn't work. So 11 plus 3 is 14. 14 plus 3 is 17, but 17 plus 23 doesn't work. But if you weren't really paying attention to that, you're just trying numbers, that's fine too. You can fill this in and then go to next and click try it. If your hooks were, if your frames didn't fall nicely, then we know we did something wrong and our spacing is incorrect. So I'm going to go ahead and yeah, the majority of you guys figured it out. So yes, so one strategy that a lot of you did was just continue to add consistently by some numbers. Also, what I would have noticed is that 11 to 23, there's a big gap here, but I can still figure out what that gap is. And 11 to 23, that's 12. But there's 1, 2, 3 equal spacing between it. So I could have taken that 12 and divided by 4. Yeah, I went divided by 3 and I went the harder way. But that would have given me equal spacing of 4. So 11 plus 4 is 15. 15 plus 4 is 19. And then 19 plus 4 is 23. But I'm a little stuck here. I'm not exactly sure. Well, I'm going forward here, adding 4. How would I go back here and get that first hook? How would I place that hook correctly? Anybody want to let me know? If I'm going backwards, how would I do that instead? Yeah, good job. Yeah, I would subtract this, in this case, 11 minus 4, that's 7. So now that I have those there and they seem to be equally spaced, let's try it out. Yeah, I got it. Perfect. Good job, you guys. So one thing I want to point out going forward now is think about why we had to start here at 7. So the first hook was placed at 7. Think about why we had to do that and mainly look at your picture. Good job. It's all right. It's the struggle that gets us to the finish line, and that's the important part. So think about this. This is really important. We have a bookcase here, and it wouldn't make sense for us to put a hook where the bookcase is. We have to get over that bookcase. So we have to think about how we had to push our bookcase, our first hook, sorry, past that bookcase here. So think about if we had to go, if we were placing a 0 hook, the bookcase, how much was that length of that bookcase? How much did we have to, what's the space, the distance that we needed to get over that bookcase? So you want to keep that in mind. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and open up slide 8 and slide 9. Follow me along to slide 8 and slide 9. So on slide 8, we are going to get a way bigger wall. A wall that could actually hold 10 hooks. So imagine that you have 5 more frames that we still want to have equally spaced. So we now have a total of 10 frames. Okay, you want to enter the missing space, the missing distances in the table, and then hit next and click on try it to make sure that you place those extra hooks correctly. So try a couple of values. Some of you might already know what to do. Good job, you guys. You guys are fantastic. It's like, Ms. Gomez, we got this. Oh, is there anything that will challenge me at this point? Good job, you guys. I'm like clicking through all of these and you got it. Okay, almost done there for some of you, but you're on the right track. Keep going. Give you guys a couple more seconds to finish off that table since you're on the right track. So I think as a class, we can start our own little business now. Remodeling houses, mainly just hanging, hanging frames. Some business economics, just kidding. Okay, all right, you guys did fantastic. So I'm gonna go ahead and continue this here. Yes, you guys saw, well, we're just continuing that same pattern. We're just having them equally spaced and our equal space between them was 4 feet. So you just continued with that 4 feet. But I mean, we just had to count 23 plus 4. Well, that's 27. 27 plus 4 is 31. 31 plus 4 is 35. 35 plus 4 is 39. And 39 plus 4 is 43. If I did all my counting there correctly, then these hooks should be placed correctly and my frame should hang and none of them should fall. There we go. Good. So we got it. You guys did fantastic on that. So now that was not a challenge and I want to make sure you guys are feeling challenged. So I'm going to open up slide 10 and 11. We're basically doing the same process all over again, but now look at your table. Isn't this fun? We're now going to have, we're going to throw in 20 more frames. We want to hang 20 frames and we still want to keep them equally spaced with the other ones. So now we have a total of 30 hooks, okay? And we can continue with that same equal spacing between them, but there's an easier way. There's almost like a little shortcut here, and that's by writing an equation. So if you're brave enough, you can try writing an equation that would place all these hooks correctly. And that equation just basically models what's going on with all of our hooks, our distances and the hooks. And I'll even help you guys out since you've been doing such a fantastic job. I'll give you a little model of how what your equation should look like. So the distance here is equal to something here of whatever's going on with our hooks. So N is our hooks, okay, plus some blank here. So this is kind of what your equation should look like. If you want to be brave enough and not actually have to, and well, brave and save yourself some time. If you don't want to have to keep filling in this table, you can give the equation a try. So the equation here basically is in this form, which some of you might have already seen in the past in either 7th grade or 8th grade, but it takes the same form as this one, y equals mx plus b. And this is actually what we're trying to work towards to get you guys at, okay? M here is our slope. So think about what we said slope is, the rate of change, that pattern that we've talked about. That seems similar to what we've been doing here. And this B is the y-intercept, but it has the plus sign, which means we're adding something there. So think of how we could use this equation here to kind of model what's going on with all of our values here. And it still relates a lot to this one here. Ooh, I see some of you guys. Yeah. Ooh, Jessica, Jessica, you're on the right track. So once you try something, I'm going to just try something here. I saw somebody saying, well, okay, I might not be ready to write a full equation, but I could just try something like, I don't know, 3n. If I click submit, it actually fills in the values for you. And you would know if you have the right equation if your values start to match here. So look, when I did 3n, I get a distance of 3 here, but the actual distance should have been 7 feet for that first hook. So keep that in mind. Again, try a couple of things. Oops. But do you have to actually write an equation? No, that's totally fine. If you prefer to keep going with the equal spacing between your hooks here, you can do that too. Once you do that, you could even try your equation here. Once you click submit, go to next, and you'll click on try it and see if your hooks fall on the correct spot as well. And if I see some of you guys trying these equations, then I'll give you some more. Okay, some of you are trying and some of you are starting to be on the right track.
Yeah, they're like, I don't want to have to do all of those.
So remember, think about the original y equals mx plus b. Doorbell.
And then the dog's like, wait, someone's trying to take over my house.
He sounds like a mean dog, but he's pretty sweet. I think he just gets excited when somebody rings the doorbell and he sounds like a really big dog.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's not a big dog. He's like a medium small
Yeah.
dog. Like, but he has a very like
loud bark,
like manly voice.
Yeah, I used to, when we first got him, I told my mom, I'm like, Mom, he's our little secret. Like, if he's outside, people would think, oh my gosh, they have a really scary dog. But if they were to actually see him, they're like, that dog is tiny, like he can't do anything. Okay, so some of you are catching on to this piece here, the M, and I hope you guys can hear me, right? He's not too loud?
No, that's fine.
Let me try this. Maybe it'll tune him out a little more. Better?
Yeah, it's a little bit more muffled.
Okay, good. Okay, so think about the M as your slope, your rate of change, the pattern, the equal spacing. So if that's your equal spacing, okay, in front of the X, that probably means we should have our equal spacing here. So I'm just going to write this in, your equal spacing in front of your M, okay? And then in the front here, we're adding something. So really take a look back at the original one here. Let me reset. Here we go. Okay, look at your first hook. Your first hook had to go past that bookcase. We couldn't really hang it here. So think of your, whatever number it is that you're adding, think of how much you had to get over that bookcase. So you could even go back to your original table. Think of your pattern that's going on here, 7 plus 4, 11, 11 plus 4, 15. Okay, and you guys told me, well, if you're going back, just subtract 4. So that 0 hook, we couldn't place the first hook up here because of the bookcase. So think about us having to put having to get past that bookcase, the length of the bookcase here. So keep that in mind over here for this equation. At the end, think about how much we would need to add to get past the bookcase. So see if that helps you a little more, for those of you that are really giving this a try. So think of the equal spacing, the distance between the hooks here. That should be in front of your end. And then the plus number here, you're trying to get past that bookcase. So think about, well, I couldn't place a hook here. And I'll give you a little more pointers. This first hook here, there's an equal spacing of 4 feet here, 4 feet here, 4 feet here, which means we could have gone back 4 feet this way, 4 feet that way, 4 feet back, 4 feet back. If we kept going on with that 4 feet here, it will tell us how long that bookcase is. Oh, let me see. Oh yeah, you got it. Good job, Samuel. Okay, a lot of you are catching on now. And Emily, you're on the right track, but you want to do something. Think of your equal spacing. That should be in front of the end. If you just switch those, you'll see that you got it. Good job, Samuel. Marifed, you're there. You're just missing this end, the hooks, because we have to say every hook is that far away. So you want to keep your let me help you out. Yeah, good. Let me see. So again, we're trying to get the equation. Do you have to get it? No. So if you're not getting it, that's totally fine. That's what we're trying to get you guys at that level, to recognize what's going on between our equal spacing, our patterns, and then where we're starting with our hooks. So you're just trying to write an equation. Let me give you an example. If I were to do something like 2n plus 1, if I do that, that equation starts to give me some numbers here. So we're trying to get these numbers to match what's going on in our actual hooks and our distances here. So the n, in front of the n, there should be a number. And we talked about how that's the slope, the rate of change, our pattern. And we do have a pattern. We saw that equal spacing here. So we do have a pattern here, but that last number at the end, you want to think about, well, how do I get it past the bookcase? And you guys are actually caught on already to that way faster now. Again, if you couldn't come up with the equation, that's totally fine. We could have just continued adding here. So 43 plus 4, that would be 47. 47 plus 4 is 51. 51 plus 4, 55. 59. 63. Once we start getting into the bigger numbers, it gets lower. 63, 67, 71, 75. But I also know that there's a pattern with these numbers, so I'll continue with that. 85. Oh, you got it. Okay, cool. Good job. See, I love that you guys don't give up. That's impressive. 95. I'm trying fast. 99. Did I jump too much? No. No. Okay. Okay. At this point, I see what's going on, and a lot of you already got it here. Yes, you guys are correct. So the pattern is that equal spacing in the front was 4 feet between each ones, and you guys did fantastic there trying to think about, how do I get it past the bookcase? Well, if I'm at 4 and I need to get it past that book, sorry, if I'm at 7 and I'm trying to work backwards to see how long that bookcase is, I would have subtracted by 4. And that would have told me that I needed to get over that bookcase using that 3 feet. And then you see that they match. And when you go over to try it, they start to hang. So you want to keep that in mind as we go on with our linear equations. And since you guys did fantastic, I'm going to go ahead and open up the next slides. So I am going to give you guys 13 and, I'm sorry, 12 and 14, 12 and 13. There we go. And we're stepping it up a notch again. But I have a feeling this won't phase you guys at all because you guys were so brave and actually tried decimals. We have a new wall, a completely new wall, okay? And there are 15 frames. So we want to know where the hooks should go. And they are already helping you out by giving you 2 of the distances of where the hooks are. And what you want to do is continue the table here. And then what you'll do is once you think you have that equal spacing, go ahead and click on try it. And it should put them in the correct spot. They should all hang. But a lot of you caught on to the equation. And if you don't want to fill out the table, then give the equation a shot, try it and see, go to the next one and try it and see if they do hang with your equation. Do you have to write an equation? No, you don't have to. You can still continue to use the pattern, the spacing. And although we have decimals, you guys can still do it. Just think about the spacing between 13 and then to 17.5, 17 and a half. Ooh, you guys are awesome giving that equation a try. Ooh, good job. I'll put it up here again, just so you guys don't forget. Some of you have the correct numbers. You just have to think about your placing. So remember, we had something like D equals ... So that blank is for your numbers. Then N should be behind it. And then you should have had plus another blank here in the back. I'm putting ... there for the blanks. Let me see. Yeah, Alexis, you got it. Yes, you got it too, Jade. Good job. So for those that are trying, yes, you're on the right track. Good job, you guys. Again, do you have to write the equation? No, not at all. As soon as you realize what's going on between your distances here of 13 feet and 17.5, then that's what you can do. All right, let's see how you guys are doing. All right, good job, you guys. So really quickly, before I actually move you guys along here, and you guys caught on to this fast, but is there anybody that would like to tell me what did they notice between 13 feet to 17.5? How did they find that spacing between them that helped you fill out the rest of these? Wow, somebody said, do I get extra credit for telling you?
No.
No, this is your assignment. Oh, good job. Yeah,
Participation points, guys. Technically, in the end, yes, you do get extra credit,
yeah.
but you won't ever see that until the very, very end. So
Yeah.
technically, the more you talk, the
Mhm.
more extra credit you will get at the end of the semester.
Yeah. Mhm. We keep that in mind because we know how hard you're working in class. You're participating. Okay, so Yes, I like that. Somebody said, I subtracted 17.5 and 13. So you're finding that space between them. Good. The distance. And remember, we did that in our formula, finding the distance, and we had to subtract. See, all this is coming together. Okay. And now, there's also another way. I could have just thought, well, 13 to get me to 17, that's at least 4. I need to add 4. But there's that extra 0.5. So 13 plus 4 is 17, but I need an extra 0.5. So that must have been 4.5 that I'm adding each time. Oh, let me write it here. There you go. See, that placement is important, but no matter what, you still get it correct. It just kind of goes back to some rules that we had in 6th grade, 7th grade with our variables and numbers. So it's not that you're wrong. It's just that to have that placement correctly, you want to make sure you write it that way. Okay, so if I just keep going on with the pattern and I couldn't come up with the equation, that's totally fine. So 13 plus 0.5 is 17.5. 17.5 plus 4.5, that would be 22, and then 26.5, and then 31, right? Yes. And then 35.5. See, I would keep going on and on, but if I remember, this was the equal spacing here, which we already found. Our equal spacing was 4.5. So I'll go ahead and do that, 4.5. But then I have to remember I had to get it past a bookcase. But for now, I'm just going to submit that. Click on the submit. And I notice, oh, my numbers are not matching. I need to get it past that 4.5. So I'm at 13. How do I get it past 4.5 to bring me to that first hook? So you could have thought about that, or you could have thought about going backwards for the 0 hook. If I'm going backwards, okay, if I'm going, well, let's do this. If I'm going forwards, I'm adding 4.5. But some of you said, well, I can just go backwards from 13 to go back. That would put me at 8.5 to get past that bookcase. If I submit that and then go to the next one and try it, in this case, I'm not getting past the bookcase. I'm getting past a bookcase and a door. So there was that distance we had to clear for that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and let you guys move on to our last slide. Slide 14. So slide 14 is about another student, definitely not from our class because you guys were fantastic. But here we have Devin from a different math class. He's writing an equation for the table that we see here. So we have some evenly spaced hooks. Take a look at your evenly spaced hooks, the distance between them, and think about the equation that David used. Is his equation correct to show the spacing between these hooks? Yes or no? And think about how we wrote ours. Oh, go back to the other one. This one? Okay, that's fine. And think about our equation. So now that I'm here, think about your equally spacing here. Does he have it in the right spacing? Think about how we wrote our equation. 4.5 was our equal spacing. That needed to be in front of the end. Is Devin doing the correct format for his equation? We had some equal spacing. Think about where he went. Jade, good job. Good job. So we have some saying yes, we have some saying no, and it's actually quite even. So for those of you that are getting close to finishing this up here with your explanation, so if you click yes, you're supposed to explain why. If you click on no, you're supposed to explain why. But we're getting really close to the end of our class here. So I just want to remind you that you guys can go ahead and go to Google Classroom and click on your exit ticket and complete your exit ticket. For those of you trying to finish it up here, if you're saying yes or no, I'm just going to remind you of one thing of your equation. We had D equals our equal spacing in front of the N, and then we were adding whatever we had here to push it over the bookcase. So push it past the bookcase or a door. Okay, did he do that? Did he have his equal spacing correct there? All of that placement is important. Okay, and now I have students switching over. Ooh. Okay, good. Good job, Marifed. Perfect explanation. Oh, Samuel, perfect. Good job. Okay, so some of you are switching over after seeing this equation here. You're thinking, okay, my equal spacing, what was my equal spacing between these here? And you're seeing, okay, 2 to 6, 6 to 10, 10 to 14. The equal spacing there, the distance between these hooks is 4 feet. Okay, that equal spacing, the distance between the hooks should be in front of the N. And we notice there's a 2 there. So no, he didn't even do that. He didn't do that part correctly. So again, Devin is not from our class. Probably a different class that didn't have as much fun as us today. But it's okay. We make mistakes, and this is part of the learning experience. So once you're done with that, you're basically done with this formative assessment, and you're okay to turn it in. So again, make sure your slides are complete to get your full credit. But if you did complete all of the slides, if you follow along with me, they should all be completed. And yeah, we're doing, we are continuing our notebook tomorrow. We will be finishing it. So go, oh, good job. 6 of you that did this. Thank you, thank you. You did it correct. You're supposed to go back into your Google Classroom. And since we did this in class, this should be completed. And what I want you to do is click on that if you are completely done and submit it. Turn in, say done, turn it in. Okay, and there's 8 of you doing just that. Don't forget you have an exit ticket. 20 of you, good job, you guys. Fill out your exit ticket. Remember, all of these slides should be completed. So if you're turning it in, that's because you did complete all of the slides. But other than that, you guys were fantastic. You guys did amazing with these equations. Keep all of this in mind as we move along into writing our actual linear equations next week. Well, starting tomorrow and next week. But you guys did fantastic. I'm going to see if Doc wants to add anything to this, and then we'll let you guys go.
No, that's all, guys. So